It is a beautiful day. The most beautiful part of today is that it is Friday and it's the weekend and it is the last day of February. So you made it through the month. It is Friday. You've made it through the week. You're ready to kick off a new month, a new journal. I'm so glad to welcome you this evening. And this is kind of late, right? It's our bedtime social. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy. I get to be your facilitator this evening as we do set up our trackers and set our intentions and do a little bit of reflecting over this past month together. It's good to see you, Sonder family. I see lots of familiar names in the chat, and I want to remind you to set that chat to everyone. If you see your name and it says to host and panelists, chances are only I will be able to see it, as well as my fabulous co-pilot tonight, my co-facilitator, the fabulous Maya Martin Glenn. So she's hanging out in that chat. And anything that comes along the way that she can help you with, she'll drop that in the chat for you. So we love to hang out together. We did this 2 nights ago, the first of 4 monthly setups. So you're at number 3, and we're just really glad to see you. Let me see. Oh, I don't want to forget. Tomorrow morning is a pretty special day in the life of anyone who might be in the Denver metro area, because Maya is going to be hosting an in-person event tomorrow morning. And it's the first one of these live Silk and Sonder gatherings. So if you are in the Denver metro area, Maya's going to put that info in the chat so that you know where to report in the morning to go hang out with your Sonder community. And this isn't just for Silk and Sonder folks. If you have someone that you would love to introduce to the magic of Silk and Sonder, feel free to bring a buddy along, because it's just going to be a really nice, low key, chillax. Let's see each other in person kind of gathering. And several we are trying to get some. Oh, thank you, Carla. We are trying to get a few more of these going. I will be doing one in the Dallas Fort Worth, Texas area in a few weeks. I had mentioned to you before, if you've been with me, you know I've been waiting on my husband to get his knees done. We have knee number 1 coming up on Tuesday, so I need to take care of him. But as soon as we get him settled, I'm going to schedule something for the DFW, Texas area, as well as eventually a gathering in the Austin, Texas area, because my daughter lives there. So I go hang out with her and get to see y'all. So we'll see what we can do about getting more opportunities together so that we can all meet in real life, because we like know each other because we see our names over and over again. But can you imagine getting together and getting to hug these people that have been journeying with you? So yeah, so set that chat to everybody. And then I do see lots of familiar names in the chat, but I want to know, is there anybody checking out a monthly setup for the very first time? If you are that person, drop it me in the chat, because these folks who have been here part of this Sonder community will want to give you a welcome. Now this is Brenda's first monthly setup. Welcome, Brenda. This is a mics off, cameras off, come as you are time. But it is so important, because what happens is we interface with community. We know how important that is for us, for our well-being, to be connected with people. But it also helps us take these amazing journals and really just use them, to the nth degree, right? To keep things fresh, to keep the accountability, setting these dates with yourself. So I'm really proud of you for showing up, proud of you for being here. And yeah, so let's get going. March is the best time to start again, because if the spring can do it, why can't you? So I love March. We have these expectations with January, new start, new beginning, all that stuff. And then it just drags on. January was so, so long. And in February, I feel like bloop, it's gone. And Claire, you haven't missed anything. You are right on time. I'm just giving a long welcome because you know how much I like to talk. Um, there's our reminder for you to just check out this 24/7 personalized life coach in your pocket. Jenny is AI driven, but it is all about you with the intake process for this beautiful application that we have to extend this into our wellness. I'm going to speak to you a minute about, how I used Jenny just to actually get ready for our time together. Maya will drop a link in the chat for a really good early bird deal on the personal life coach. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to concierge at silkandsonder.com. And if you need to talk about pricing or whatever, just feel free to reach out because you never know what they can help you with. All righty. Here's our community guidelines. For those of you who are returning, we always share these because it is very important to all of us that we create safe spaces when we are together. And so these are those reminders about those safe spaces, but also that reminder about taking care of yourself. So take what you need. You may be really tired tonight. It's Friday. And so if you just sit with us, hang out, doodle, take a few notes, maybe do save your setup for tomorrow, that's cool. We're just glad you're here. So always take what you need and take care of yourself. Here we are at March, a brand new month. Where are my birthday babies? Please drop a me in the chat. Let's wish our Sonder community a happy birthday. If you have a March birthday, put that date down, March 28th. Oh, you are almost an April girl. Alicia, my little granddaughter turns 4 on the 31st. Oh, Kim has a birthday this month. I love it. All our Pisces and Aries are showing up here. March 8th, March 5th. Oh, Reverend Joy Ellen. You're a day after the only day that gives a command. March 4th. I have a good friend who's turning 70, and that's her birthday's March 4th, and she always says the only day that gives a command. So yeah, March has some great things. One of the most notable things about the month is it is Women's History Month. And real excited about our exclusive social for this month is going to be is inspired by Women's History Month, and I'm just really glad we're embracing that. It's also National Crayon Day. Y'all know I love to color, and so March is fun, and it's bringing us spring, right? We're kind of maybe done with wintering, with our rest time. Um, I love this. Winds of March, we welcome you. There is work for you to do. Work and play and blow all day and blow the winter cold away. We are ready to defrost and get going with some newness. And speaking of newness, vitality is our theme of the month. And I personally am so excited about this one because as the older I get, the more I realize what a treasure vitality is. It is such a gift. And when I do things, I think, this going to make me feel vital, right? It's a word I'm really embracing in this season of my life. So I'm super excited when I found out about, March is going to be vitality. And of course, vita, the root, the Latin, it means life, right? And so I just love that. And how do we know when we are feeling vital? That's a great question, Marley. I think a lot of it comes from the reflection and from doing all that personal work, and we just every day, I think as long as we're willing to change and grow, then we are living with a vital mindset. Any thoughts coming up from y'all? Think about that. How do you know when you're feeling vital? Maybe that's what our journey will entail this month. We'll be discovering that. And Mandy just shared that is her word of the year, vitality. I love that. Oh, how did that align, Mandy? Your birthday month word of the year. Ah, love that. Love the serendipity there. So, like wildflowers, you must allow yourself to grow in all the places people thought you never would. Maybe that's a little bit of vitality. We like to begin our time together with this turning to page 2 and just kind of looking over Mayha's letter. And I always like to think, it's a little bit of a love note to us, right? She's like, okay, Sonder family, here's why. Here's why we're doing vitality. Here's what I want you to think about. Here's how I want you to grow. And so be sure that you take just a little bit of time to skim that letter. There's a lot of great little bits and pieces in there. The things that jumped out for me were thinking about vitality is about the energy that fuels everything we do. And that includes rest, like vital rest, vital recovery. It's the feeling of being alive and present. It often comes from balancing work with restoration, that yin and yang of life. And we work really hard in Silk and Sonder to do that, to work hard and have fun, but also to find times of rest and relaxation and restorative things, because it's all about encompassing our entire well-being. And then also, it's about being intentional with where you focus your time and energy so you show up fully, right? How do you show up fully for yourself so then you can show up for the world? So I think this is going to be a fun month. As the weather changes, we're going to be digging into living our most vital life. I found this quote and it really spoke to me. I hope you believe that you can still make a beautiful life for yourself, even if you lost many years to grief or darkness or a wound that wouldn't close. This month is for you. It's a time of finding vitality in the days that you have now and what you see for your future. We don't want to save anything for a special occasion, because being alive is a special occasion. We're going to start this evening with our monthly acrostic poem, and I have a secondary activity for you to do if you've already done that poem, or you want to save your acrostic for a time when your head is in a different space. Remember, this is about taking what you need tonight. We'll do a reflection over the month of February. That really is a gratitude moment when we think about the things that February brought us. We will be digging into our March intentions, which I think is kind of that compass for helping us set up our weeks so that we get what we want from this month. Intentions are so super duper important. And then we'll take a look at that mood tracker and habit tracker. I will have lots of examples from y'all to share this evening. So if you see something you like, please grab a screenshot. You may not use it this month, but maybe something will speak to you, and you may think, "Ooh, I'm not going to do that as far as my monthly setup, but maybe I'll incorporate that idea into my weekly setup." So, again, take what you need. So I'm going to invite you to turn to a blank notes page, or I think the other night Alexandria had a really great idea. She went to page 1 in her journal, and she used on the index, the table of contents. She used this little notes section right there for her acrostic poem. I thought that was a good place, but anywhere in your journal, and then just start. What do you think of when you think of vitality? Like for me, it's very garden driven. I think of dirt and the earth warming and the sun shining and rain coming and buds and blossoms. I spent a lot of my retirement in the spring just gardening and growing stuff. Well, trying not to kill stuff. That's what I should say. Anyway, so I think of that kind of renewal, right? We're done with wintering. But just start jotting that stuff down. See if you can come up with about 8 words, and then we will work those into an acrostic poem with using the word vitality. So you can do one word, you can do sentences, and then I got assistance this month from Jenny, our personal coach. And I said, "Hey, Jenny, knowing what you know about me, help me write an acrostic, using the word vitality." And so here's what Jenny came up with for me. And so it might be cheating a little bit, but I'm gonna be writing that poem in my journal, the one that Jenny helped me with. So if you are using that coach, she knows knows all the stuff about you, her poem will maybe kind of sync up with your life. You could also take a look at the month of March and welcome in March with an acrostic, getting that mindset. The reason that we have this poetry activity is that it tickles a part of the brain that probably doesn't get tickled very much for, embracing a little bit of creativity. We're not all language arts folks. And so this kind of helps get our brain doing something it's not used to doing, which makes it very happy. Another thing you may choose to do during this time, if you're not feeling the poem, is you could write a little note to say goodbye to February and then welcome the new month of March. And I wrote mine in my scratch pad that is on this week in February, that last scratch pad. And I told February goodbye. You're the last of my wintering days. I thanked it for its cold weather, which encouraged me to slow down, have a little bit of rest. It was a little unpredictable in many ways, and I admire you as a great teacher. See, I got that admiration in there. And then I welcome March with a little note about being, waiting for you somewhat impatiently to bring vitality to the earth. I think March is a good friend, and March brings out the best in me. The spirit of spring growth makes me giddy and feels so full of life. I look forward to spending 31 days with you. So maybe that's speaking to you, just kind of that little reflection. If you would like, yeah, I use my phone a friend. Now, vitality's tricky, that V word. So I was actually looking for acrostic poems just to have to show you, but I found this great acrostic for V words for acrostic poems. So you can knock yourself out with that, but you could also use synonyms of vitality, which I have a list there. And finally, we've got these beautiful examples from Sonder Club. This is from our friends from Thursday night. And this is what their poems ended up looking like. So, as we just take a moment to settle ourselves from the week and start embracing vitality and this new month that has come our way, I'm going to put a little bit of music and let you just kind of dig in. Take some deep breaths and let's get ready for a March mindset. Alrighty, so you may not be quite finished with that. That's okay. Keep working, or you don't have to finish this tonight. You kind of let it bounce around, and you might come up with some other words after your cup of coffee in the morning, and you can finish your poem then. I'm also going to encourage you, since we are talking about that acrostic, take a moment before tuck February away and go back and look at the acrostic poem that you wrote a month ago to welcome in the month of February and see if anything would have changed after you have journeyed through that month of admiration. See how that poem hits after you've done that work this month. And then, just before you tuck it away on the shelf. So now let's get going with our February reflections. So I'm going to invite you to turn to page 8. That's that reflection page. And I would like to ask you if we can just work on this top section first. I'll play some music and then we'll come back and I'd like to look at our stop, start, and continue spaces separately. So let's start with looking at those wins from February, those things that just brought you joy that you're so proud of, things that you accomplished, things that made you happy, just those pats on the back. Let's celebrate all those wins from February. And then we're also going to embrace those challenges. We all have them. And when you're writing those challenges and you're going to hopefully be able to leave that on paper, some of those feelings that those challenges brought about, I'd also like to encourage you to think about how you overcame that challenge and give yourself that credit for making it through. And you might still be in the middle of it and give yourself that credit for, I'm getting through it. I still have a ways to go, but I want you to really think about what those challenges are teaching you about finding vitality in your life as we are moving forward into this new month. And then finally, what were your very favorite moments of February? And some of those could be your wins and challenges. Maybe it is that you conquered something that was really tough. So it could be the same thing that you're writing for a couple of these other areas, but it could also just be those little moments that, you might have small little glimmers that you are like just keeping in your mind. Again, you might want to pull that phone out and take a look at what caught your attention. What did you take screenshots of or photographs of? Those might be some things that will help you remember, like, oh, yeah, I forgot, like on February 2nd. This happened. I always say too, the credit card statement can kind of tell you how your month went. So, do those reviews. Also, if you have been doing your rosebud and thorn reflections each week, that's a great place to go and pick like the top, like your top roses, and put those in there for your February wins and your favorite moments. So I'm going to put on just a little bit of music while you consider your reflections for the month. And then we'll come back and talk about the bottom of this page. And as always, if you're comfortable, let us celebrate your wins with you. And if you need a little extra support and you're feeling a little alone in your challenges, share them with us. Let us like be encouragers for you. I'll be back to check in just a moment. right. I love this activity because when things feel, it's so easy to focus on the negative, and it's just so nice to take a moment to consider those wins and to consider the good things that came. It really does help with that balance. And we talk a lot about duality in Silk and Sonder because it is a life of yin and yang, right? And so when we consider those good times and the wins, and we can balance some of the feelings we have in those challenges with those good things. So I love this activity. Thank you for working so hard on it and doing that reflection of this past month. Now let's drop down to the bottom of this page. And these are the things I want you to like think about your month and think about what you want to start and stop and continue. And I love these little three boxes because they really do serve as a compass for setting up our intentions, but also for driving what our goals and to-dos will be. When we really utilize this space, sometimes when I first started using my journal, I would fill this out, then I would like forget to go back and look at what I wanted to start, stop, and continue. So I'm going to encourage you to like look at this page every week and remind yourself of what you were wanting for yourself this month. So of course the things start, what do you want to start doing? What do you want to do that might be a little different and give you some different results? What do you want to try? Let's just see what happens this month if I fill in the blank. Of course, what do you want to stop? What's not working in your life? A lot of times this is very introspective stuff, some self-talk business, right? Getting out of our own heads. But things that are not practical or that are impeding your growth, impeding your vitality. What do we need to leave behind because it's just not working out? It's not doing you any good. And then finally, the stuff that we are like, we've nailed it this month. I'm going to take this into March. Those are those things that we want to continue. So the stuff that's working well, maybe you tried something was new last month, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to keep doing this because I nailed it this time. So that goes in this box, things that you like, that you need. Now, I would also like to just encourage you to maybe think of one area of growth in your life, and you can almost like frame this whole exercise around an area that you're really wanting to embrace. So maybe there's a relationship that you really want to focus on. And so your start, stop, and continue is going to be around that relationship, that person. What do you need to start doing, or what do you want to start doing with this person? What do you want to stop doing with this person and considering this relationship? And then what gets carried forward? Perhaps it's another kind of theme. And I've got a list of several things here, decluttering, health, wellness, like your movement, your nutrition, core values, education, habits. You could take that word of the year if you have that. How is that word driving the things that you want to bring into your life? Could you frame this around that word of the year? And of course, vitality, right? What do we want to start doing to really embrace vitality? What do we need to stop doing that is standing in the way of feeling that sense of vitality? And then what do I do already that I want to continue? So let's look at some from our friends. I really, really appreciate the asking yourself these questions, like what is it? What do I want to start? And then extending that into why. What is your why? That is so important to know, right? And then how? Like what am I specifically going to do? So it's almost like a little pre-gaming for your goal setting of the month. You're kind of start to think about that. So you can see like this first one is what I want to start doing. I want to start getting into a regular morning routine. Why? Well, because better mornings to start each day. Like that's just going to set you on the best foot. And then how am I going to do that? Set up specific routine in order. So now that action item becomes goals, becomes your habits, your activities. You can see the one at the bottom. It is a list of lots of reflection about what they want for that month. So, just kind of thinking about all the things. And so there's kind of that list under each one of these categories. Again, a couple more examples of asking those questions. What is it and why and how? Again, it just is that power of writing it down and committing it to the paper. And then finally, this is a way to kind of repurpose the idea of start, stop, and continue, and maybe really embracing the idea of how do I feel about something, right? So this person says, I feel tired and heavy because of, well, my sleep hygiene is off. So, that's that reason behind it. So what is that telling me? What do I want or what do I need? And so this person realizes I need a purposeful routine I can stick to. So can you see how that can then drive how they set up their intentions and what they can do under their goals and habits and activities for the month? So a little repurposing of that space. This space fits that perfectly. So I'm going to stop talking while you work on this section and let us know, what do you do? What do you do here? Do you have some questions that you ask yourself? How do they inform the rest of the things that you do in your journal? And, share. Let us be your accountable. When we call out our goals and have this accountability group, we're more than likely, more we are more likely to meet those because we have our accountability buddies. I'll be back to check in a moment. Okay, great reflection time on that. Thank you for working on that. And I'm going to call out Carla because Carla was very transparent and said, "Ugh, I set a lot of goals and I also didn't hit them." And yeah, same, Carla. So thank you for calling that out in our chat because it is a reminder that we want to make sure that we take care of ourselves. And so I want to encourage you to focus on what you did get done and remind everybody that we put so much pressure on ourselves. Perhaps it's a good idea to maybe consider, especially if you're going through a time of grief like Carla is, just be very gentle to yourself and go low. Set, very manageable, smaller goals, less goals. And then if you get those, you can always add to your plate. But I don't want, the stuff that's here in your journal is a data point. You're collecting data. It's neutral. It's a piece of paper. You're just seeing like, oh, I think I overextended, extended myself. So, you know, just be gentle with yourself. Thanks for calling that out, Carla. So now comes the time of our intention. So, like I was saying, that start, stop, and continue box is a great place to go look at kind of what you want to manifest for the month, what you're planning for March to be. Now, we have these 6 spaces here. You don't have to fill out all 6 spaces. Maybe 3 of these are really speaking to you. And if you're in a if you are in a time of grief or a time of a health issue and your wellness isn't full, pick the top 3 that are speaking to you. Work on those. Focus on those. Give yourself that grace. You don't have to fill out all the things. As Maya always says, no one's going to come to your house to grade these. We are not picking them up. They are not going to be graded. So I did find this great graphic on intentions and goals because I tend to be so productive driven. I love to-do lists that I have a hard time writing intentions. They end up just being a laundry list of all the things I want to do. And so people would say, "What's the difference between an intention and goal?" And like for me, there really wasn't because I want to do. So I'm really trying to embrace the idea that intentions are more about how you want to feel and not what you want to accomplish. And this graphic was such a great way for me to have that understanding that, intentions are very broad and vague, very feeling oriented, very short term about what I'm wanting, for March. Whereas a goal has, it's specific, it's measurable, it's time bound. It's, all those things that, we meet these little milestones to meet a goal. So I thought that that might be helpful. And you might want to, grab a screenshot of that or a picture of that if it helps you. Because I, again, have a really hard time of not making this a to-do list. Now, that said, if that's what speaks to you in these intentions and like I'm putting a goal there because I need that. I need that to drive the rest of the month, then do that, right? You take what you need, what is going to help you be successful you and feel good about what you are bringing into your March. This month, of course, National Women's History Month, Irish American Heritage Month, National Reading Awareness Month, and MS Awareness Month. So, if any of those speak to you in a specific way, you may have those worked into your intentions. Some tips and tricks for setting this up. I want to show you, I'll come back to this slide, but I want to show you real life examples from our Sonder family. Just like I said, you don't have to fill in all 6. This person is focusing on the first 4 intentions, the bottom 2 spaces. They've left for a quote and for a scripture for the month. I also have an example. I don't have it in this month's example deck, but somebody leaves one of their spaces and it's a mid-month check-in and they go back and they kind of check in with self and make any little notes. So they do 5 of the 6 intentions. And you are welcome to use these intentions as they are printed, or you can repurpose them to fit your life. So, my professional goals I have turned into learning goals or knowledge. Knowledge is my word, my intention. And then I put into place some things to keep my brain active since I don't have the rhythm and routine of a 9 to 5 job. Here are some fun examples, different ways to set this up to bring about those feelings. So stickers, or a collage, almost like a little mini vision board, if you will. Um, I always say stickers want to be stuck. Y'all pay attention to that sticker one, the key relationships. There's a sticker on there that really made me laugh. There's also putting these in phrases, right? Like to be an affirmation. So I will, I commit to, I can, I intend to, I am. Just like Kelly said, I start these with I am asking myself to, really embracing those feelings. April says it's also social work month. Thank you for dropping that in that chat. If you have a social worker in your life or that's you, how does that frame out your month? Again, speaking to the duality of more and less. And there's an example of more peace, less anxiety, more intention, less distraction. So, really kind of thinking about what you need in your life. A single word just to embrace this. And I love, extending that into like a doodle, like this beautiful handwriting and coloring that box in and just kind of when you're occupied with that coloring, it really helps you focus on just that word. Perhaps you put a great quote there, something that speaks to you. And for our intentions, I love this quote from a woman from our history, Amelia Earhart, who said the most effective way to do it is to do it. I had to include that one there. I love it. There's an example of song titles, and this person also used I want statements. This one in the middle from last March, the intention is in the pot of gold, and then some of the ways that this intention is going to be incorporated is in the rainbow. So I love that. So if you feel like doodling some little pots of gold, and dropping your intention word in that. And then that's a way to kind of that speaks to me because there's some to-dos on those intentions. Like I said, I love that. And then you could just do a simple statement that will support those intentions. Let me show you a couple more examples. So then once you have your intentions, I want to show you how these two Sonder family have used their intention page. Again, don't forget about this page. Go back and look. But every intention was assigned a number. So the spiritual health was number 3. And then in the habit tracker, that third intention directly ties back to that spiritual health intention about being grateful. The personal life was number 2. And so the second line there has to do with her personal life. And it was like, for personal life, she put, I'm going to carry my silk and sonder. So it's going to go everywhere with me. And then her check-in is carry and open my silk and sonder journal. So that self accountability. So took those intentions, put them in the habit tracker. So I love that. I love that tie-in, if you will. And then here is another one where it was, radiate. What am I going to radiate this month? I am going to radiate peace for my spiritual health, radiate joy for my personal life, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can see how that idea of radiating is brought into the weekly setup. And then it drives the goals, and then those goals have to-dos associated with that. So I wanted to show you that example. Now, mine is not as organized. Mine tends to just be all these random things, and they kind of come together because they're all about me, but they're not as succinct as this. But I think this is beautiful. And if it speaks to you, grab it and use that. I'm going to put on some music while we take a look at getting our intentions done. Let us know what you're doing. One of the things I always love about our gatherings is how everything just always hits beautifully, and the support that's out there for one another. This is a really special gathering this evening. Y'all are just saying some wonderful things to one another, and I love you for that, and just for making this time very, very special and meaningful. So thank you for sharing in the chat and encouraging one another as we are working through these pages. So now it's time to take a look at those two awesome trackers, the mood tracker and habit tracker. And I forgot to ask folks or suggest this to folks the other night. This mood tracker is a great tracker just to make scan copies of, because you could keep one at your desk. It's such a great tracker for lots of different things. Like, you may have something at work that you're trying to make sure happens every day. Make a copy of this mood tracker and just repurpose it into whatever. I love both of these trackers for that reason. Maybe you have a separate one for work. You do your habit tracker at work, and you put your work habits on that, and just keep that at your desk, top drawer, pull it out when you get there, put it away when you leave. But just that little pro tip, if you need extra trackers, make copies. So we're going to look at our mood tracker first. And the mood tracker, like it says, it helps us see the trends in our feelings, and how things are going. And when we can notice those trends, again, gathering data, it can help us make shifts. It can help us pay attention to, oh, I feel like this one I am with these people, or I'm in this situation. Here's where I'm happiest. It just gathers all this information so that you can bring in the tools that you need to maybe elevate some of the feelings, moods that, are hitting you that you don't want to have as often. So we have two flavors of mood trackers. We have the round one and we have the hexagon one. So this month we are team round. I know that there are three teams among us. We have those who love the round mood tracker. We have those who love the hexagon, their team hexagon. And we have the folks who, I don't really care. I just love having the tracker. So I hope that some of you are happy this month to see this round mood tracker. I love when I see the team. I don't care. Yeah, and team round, team hexagon. See, we're so split. It's just you never know. So again, just that reminder of why we do those mood tracking moments in our days. Here is the feelings wheel. This is a great resource to begin with the feelings you want to track. We generally say those six feelings in the middle are really good ones to land on if you're not sure what to do. They're also written around the outside of this wheel, and then you can see how the wheel spokes go out, and we get more, I guess, more precise with those feelings. So under fear comes things like dread and anxious and worried. So you can get a little more specific if you want. I will come back to this slide so that you're able to take a look at those words. When you're filling this out, we say do two or three negative feelings, maybe something kind of a little neutral, and a couple of positive feelings. You can definitely kind of focus on vitality this month. And then some people like to do a check-in at noon, and that's the only time they look at this. And other folks, check in several times a day and code that day according to the moods that they're having. And I have some examples to show you of how that looks for folks. So here's, four examples of how folks have set up their mood tracker. The one at the top I love. All of the moods start with the letter A. So I thought that was kind of fun. Um, you can see that this person below that one is actually using little icons to track those moods, and it looks like they're checking in with themselves several times a day. The one over on the upper right might just be a one-time check-in. And then you can see I just love this one that's on the bottom, because there's some highlighter happening there, and it's just very bright and happy. But also noticing, they tracked when they were tired, but look, they wrote the word nap there. They actually listened to themselves and gave themselves a little bit of rest. There's a lot of ways to repurpose this tracker. That's why I said make a copy of it because it's so good to track other things. Let's look at some examples of that. The one at the bottom that you see, the intentions tracker, that is tracking that intention. So maybe each day, you choose an intention to really focus on and you're tracking that way. Perhaps an energy tracker. There's a whole list of some ideas. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just some suggestions that folks have done that I've seen in Sonder Club to use this. Maybe it's all your creativity tracker. You're tracking 6 different projects this month that you're working on. I use mine as the books that I'm reading, and they're just color coded. So, I read a book for a few days. Those days are going to be color coded. That's the blue one this month. This is the pink one. And I usually read about 6 books a month. So I use mine as my book tracker. But some people actually just track the number of pages they read. Here's some examples of that repurpose. As you can see, the one over there on the right, it is a check-in with self about how full is my glass. And I love this one. It's either an overflowing day, which is awesome, but a full day, half full. I'm feeling a little half full. And then we're starting to get, I'm feeling a little half empty, which is really the same glass, but it's the way you're feeling, right? Completely empty was green. And then I love the purple one. It says smash the glass. So, like, don't mess with me. It's a bad day. I'm going to encourage you when you're tracking something on the daily to maybe highlight your days that look a little bit different, like a weekend. Draw around those weekends because they're different. Different vibes, and then it can really help you track your mood, how you're feeling, or maybe, if it's a good day, a meh day, a bad day, like you see this one over here on the upper left. It may be all the weekends. You look at this data and you're like, oh, every Saturday and Sunday have a purple fantastic, dot with them. There's your data to show how much you love your weekends. And then I love this one on the left. It is like a garden farmer's almanac tracker. It's the moon tracker. They're looking at the phases of the moon, but all the tasks for the garden are written in that wheel according to the days they needed to happen. And then we've got this idea over here of the Peloton, all the stuff affiliated with that Peloton. So let's take a few moments to set up our mood tracker. And I want to know, what do you do with this tracker? Are you using it as a mood tracker? What are the moods you're tracking? And then how have you repurposed it? And I'll be back to check in with you and we'll work on that habit tracker. I love that y'all dropped some other ideas into the chat and um, I think was it Carla? No, Alicia says ideas to repurpose the sleep tracker. So while I'm talking about our habits and activities, if you repurpose your sleep tracker, drop that in the chat for Alicia and anybody else who's looking to repurpose that tracker. So the habit tracker is amazing because it's a great place to start our new habits. Go back and look at that start, stop, and continue box that we worked on. Are there things that can come directly from that? These habits can really help you set up for the rest of the month. You can use vitality as your focus. Oops, and I'm going the wrong way. Whoops, whoops, sorry guys. My little mouse is tricky. And then I wanted to share with you this how long it takes to form a new habit. Minimum 3 weeks, all the way up to 8 months, depending on the habit, right? So, we either make habits or we break habits. And so think about that. You should be seeing your habits from last month probably on this tracker too, or at least a few of them until they're very well established. We always say give yourself a gimme, the thing that you're going to do because it makes you turn to that page, check it off, and then you're looking at all the other things you want to do. We have these two things that we can use, two tools within our journal that we can use to track. And so this monthly tracker are those things we want to do most days of the month. Now you don't have to fill every line in. You can leave some blank. We want again, set yourself up for success. If we put so much on there, it becomes overwhelming and we don't do it. We've got some great examples of that. Please notice how the weekends are marked off on the example over there on the right. You don't have to just check it. You don't have to have a beautiful mandala like this one, although I think it's gorgeous. I'm a check person, black pen check. But you can also actually write in the spaces, like you can see this person is tracking weight, and then they're writing if they did shower or exercise that day by an S or an E. So you can actually write in that. You don't have to just check it off. This person is putting their whys for each one of these habits, kind of maybe pointing back to an intention. And then you can see how the other two trackers that are on this deck are, delineating the weeks by color coding it, but also color coding. The one on the bottom there is doing 4 habits and they're following along with those color bands just to make it simpler to look at. This is the 2 examples of completed habits. Again, a piece of data to show you what your month looked like. And if you see a lot of blanks, that's giving you information, right? So I just need to change this up and tweak it a little bit. The goal is not blacking out the whole thing. It's about learning and growing slowly. So I'm going to give you just a quick moment to set your tracker up. Would love to know what habits you're tracking, and I'll be right back to check in and we'll say goodbye. I do not wanna keep you after class because it's getting late and it is Friday and we are so tired. So, I wanna tell you thank you, thank you, thank you for spending this time with Maya and with me as you set yourself up for a month of vitality to welcome in this brand new month of March. Think about ways that you can be so good to yourself and live your most vital life. We would love to see your setup shared in Sonder Club, so please do that as you are comfortable. And once again, I loved our gathering tonight. I think we were all just the right people for each other, and that was a beautiful thing. Have a wonderful weekend, Sonder family. I will see you soon.
Sounds so good. So sweet. Living in this big blue world with my head up in outer space. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK. I know I'll be A-O-A-OK.